Here's some of the reasons that I did not go back to being a Christian after leaving a cult.
The woman in this video is describing some of her reasons for not being a Christian, and I want to briefly address a few of them. 3 of the reasons Shay provides are as follows. 1, moral disagreements with Jesus. 2, God of the Old Testament she thinks is evil. And 3, she thinks some of the teachings of the Bible are psychologically damaging. So the first points I want to address are that she disagrees with the morality displayed by Jesus and the Old Testament God. And here's the fundamental issue with this as an intellectual objection to Christianity. When she makes these remarks, she is essentially saying that if God exists, he would have to have the exact same moral values as she does. And if you're going to reject a religious system because the God in that system says you are wrong about a moral belief, you are implicitly saying that it is impossible for you to be wrong about any of your moral values. This seems not only factually wrong, but also extremely arrogant. If God is omniscient, morally perfect, and eternal, it seems insane to suggest that his moral values must perfectly cohere with the beliefs of a finite falling being like myself. We should expect for there to be some differences in how I see morality and how God sees it. And if we recognize that we can be wrong about some of our moral beliefs, as I think we should, this raises the question of how we should go about fact-checking whether or not our moral beliefs are correct. If I want to see whether or not I am correct about how I solved a math problem, the thing to do is to hold my answer up against the key, or to check the answers in the back of the book. Similarly, if I want to know if my morals are accurate, I should hold them up to the moral standard, the key, so to speak. And if I find that my values contradict that of the key, the proper thing to do is not to say that the key is wrong and reject it. The proper thing to do is to alter my moral beliefs. This brings me to the next reason Shay mentioned that I want to address, which is that the Bible's teachings are psychologically damaging, and that the real word of God would not be psychologically damaging. I'm going to assume here that psychologically damaging in this context means something like causes mental anguish or extreme mental discomfort or something in that neighborhood. So the problem here is in the claim that God's actual word wouldn't cause this type of mental suffering. But if people are engaging in activity that is wrong, and God uses his word to correct those people, it shouldn't be surprising that people feel some type of mental anguish or discomfort when they learn that they are in the wrong. It's completely normal for us to feel shame or guilt or embarrassment when we learn that we have done something wrong. I know there are times when my wife will tell me that something I said or did hurt her, and when I learn this, it deeply grieves me and causes me mental anguish. Should I therefore conclude that my wife doesn't love me because she did something that caused me psychological harm? No, that's insane. I'm glad that my wife tells me when I hurt her, because that is the only way I can fix it and avoid those things in the future. Similarly, if there's a morally perfect God, and if we are creatures who have fallen short of his moral perfection, we should expect to learn of our transgressions, and we should expect to be grieved by them. If you say that God would never say anything to mentally distress you, you are essentially saying that you are a morally perfect being whose actions will always be in perfect alignment with God's. Put simply, you are putting yourself in the role of God and then judging him based on your standards.